Okay, so today I wanted to do a video about the myth of male privilege, and I was inspired to do this video by watching a Mouse Rebel News video recently where he talked about the Lara Croft Tomb Raider game, and apparently there is a scene in which Lara Croft is sexually assaulted, and he talked about how, you know, it's an indication of our rape culture and male privilege. And I would really have to disagree. I don't think that the rape culture is something that I can understand why people think that we do have a rape culture, but I don't think that it's something that confines itself to women as victims. And as a matter of fact, I think that as much as women are stereotyped and given a hard time whenever they try to stand up against sexual violence, I think that men have an even tougher time when it happens to them, and have an even more difficult time trying to stand up for it and defend themselves against it. And I think that has to do with, you know, the fact that men are expected to be strong and independent and never ask for help. And of course the fact is that everybody needs to ask for help, and no one is immune from sexual assault, certainly not as children, and not as adults either. You know, and I don't really see how you can look at the fact that male on male rape in prison is treated as a joke, and look at how there have been, you know, scandals involving male victims of sexual predation in which, let's say, their perpetrator or rapist was a female. Well, they're often given lighter sentences than males who consort with young girls. And you could say that that is a result of sexism and how, you know, women are you know, that their sexuality is not taken as seriously, and therefore they're not punished as severely when they commit those sorts of crimes. But I certainly don't think that you could say that that is a privilege that males enjoy, that they are, when they are raped, when they are sexually assaulted, that it's not taken seriously. And that even though this particular video game is a male and female rape, and perhaps you wouldn't see a video game that that depicted a male and male rape, I think that has more to do with homophobia than it does with misogyny per se. I certainly do think that there is a certain amount of misogyny that exists in the world, but I also think that there is a lot of hatred and discrimination that men experience, and therefore when I hear people talk about male privilege, it just it makes me cringe. I mean, I can totally understand why a lot of male rights advocates and a lot of other people think that feminism is a negative man-hating movement when I hear people say things like that, because it just totally dismisses and overlooks all of the sexual violence and all of the other hardships that men face in life. And I just don't think that it's fair to do that. And I think that if you continue to do that, the system that you're going to create or continue to perpetrate is going to be just as unjust as, you know, a system where, you know, males are given all the rights and privileges, and women aren't allowed to own property, for example, and women aren't ever granted custody of children. You know, I think certainly that there were historical injustices that feminism was meant to overcome, but you can't create justice for women by turning the tables on men and ignoring the hardships that men go through. And I have a problem with that. I must say that initially when I heard of the men's rights movement, you know, watching YouTube videos and stuff, I guess one thing that really turned me off to it was the homophobia that was displayed by some of the male rights advocates that I encountered, and the association of the homosexual rights movement with feminism as an attempt to destroy men and the traditional family and all of that stuff, and I completely disagree with that. I just don't think that a movement to have justice for homosexuals and to have less sexism in the world, I don't think that has anything to do with, or should have anything to do with, diminishing men or diminishing women, or raising children. It just makes me sad when people make those sorts of assumptions. You know, maybe there are feminists that want to destroy the traditional family. You know, just as I'm sure that there are, I'm not really even destroy the traditional family, but that it's just they don't have respect for any families that don't function and look like they think that a proper family should function and look. You know, where there are two mothers, for example, or single parents, or, you know, anything that's not traditional. I think that it's unfortunate that, you know, that both feminists and male rights advocates and really, you know, demonize people on the other side to the extent that they do. And so anyway, that's basically what I wanted to say, was that I just don't see how you could really honestly argue that male privilege really exists. I think that as much as women are put into narrow boxes of, you know, you must do this, you must do that because of their gender, I think that very much the same thing happens to men, and in many cases to even a greater degree. And I think because, you know, sort of, I mean, you could argue that because the women are only given sort of a greater leeway to break out of their box because they're not taken seriously, but, you know, it's sort of a double-edged sword for men. Their roles are narrowly defined, and I don't think that pretending that that isn't true and pretending that they have it so great and that women are so horribly oppressed and they're the only ones suffering, I just don't think that that's doing anybody any favors. So that's just what I wanted to say. Thank you for watching.